Hey guys, you're welcome to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be cutting and sewing these two pieces that you can see on your screen. So for this tutorial, I used 3 yards of crepe fabric. So if you want your skirt to be fuller, you can use 4 yards or 5 yards. So we'll start by cutting and sewing the skirt. So you're going to measure the length you want for your skirt and you're going to cut out your fabric. So I'm using the whole 3 yards for the skirt, and I went ahead to cut out my band. So to cut out your band, you're going to measure around your waist and you add 2 extra inches to whatever you get. So the width of my band is my waist circumference plus 2 inches, while the length of the band on fold is 2 inches. The length of my band is going to be 1.5 inches. The extra half an inch is what I'll be using to stitch the band to the skirt. And for the length of your skirt, you are going to measure how long you want your skirt to be. The length of my skirt is 25.5 inches, while the length of my band is 1.5 inches. So I'll take out the band, which is 1.5 inches. So what I have on the main fabric is 24 inches. So once I sew the band to the main skirt, is going to be 25 inches plus my hemming allowance. So I'll open up my fabric now. I'll head over to my sewing machine and I'll gather this fabric to fit the band, the length of the band. Okay, so I'll go ahead and gather and fix the band on it. So after gathering all the way, this is what I have. So gather everything to fit into the width of the band. So like I said, if you want your skirt to be fuller, you can use 4 yards or 5 yards. Okay, so now I'm going to fix my zipper. So you're going to figure out where you want your zipper to stop, and then you close the skirt all the way to the end and fix your zipper in place. After fixing the zipper in place, you are going to now hem the base of your skirt, okay, to give it a good finishing. After fixing my zipper in place, this is what I have. So I made the zipper short because it's a free skirt. So what you do now is to overlock the waist area, okay, so your fabric does not pull out. After doing that, you're going to hem the base of your skirt if you've not done that already. And if you want your skirt to be really full, like you want it to be standing, you can sew a petticoat under the skirt to give it that fullness. To draft out the blouse, I've gone ahead to fold my pattern paper into 2 because of the slanted design on the base of the blouse. So I'll go ahead and start taking my points. The first point is the distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my waist point, which is 15 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my hip point, which is 24 inches. The blouse is longer than the hip area, so I went ahead to add 3 extra inches from the hip line. Okay, so it's going to make it 27 inches. So I'll go ahead and rule straight lines across like this, and I'll label my lines. The first line is the bust line, second line waistline, third line hip line. Next, now is to take half of my shoulder measurement on this point. So it's a sleeveless blouse and I'm going to hem the armhole. So half of my shoulder measurement is 8 inches. Because I want the shoulder to be wide, I'm going to take 9 inches. So I added extra 1 inch to half of my shoulder measurement. On that 9 inches, I went down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I indicated the 1 inch with a dot. For the neck width, I went in by 3.5 inches. I indicated the 3.5 inches with a dot. I'll slant from the 3.5 inches to meet the 1 inch shoulder slope like this. The next thing I'll do is to take my armhole depth. My armhole depth is 7 inches. So from the shoulder slope, I went down by 7 inches. And I indicated the 7 inches with a dot. On that dot, I'm going to go ahead and connect straight from the shoulder slope to the dot, and I'll roll a straight line across on the other end. So that is going to be the chest line. Next thing I'll do is to divide this straight line into 2. I'll mark the middle point, which is 3.5 inches. On this chest line, I'll place my bust circumference divided by 4. I'll indicate that with a dot. After doing that, I'm going to add 1 inch for my ease allowance and another 1 inch for my sewing allowance. So you can do 0.75 inches as the ease allowance. On the waistline, I'll place my waist circumference divided by 4, and then I'll add extra 1 inch for my joining allowance. So I'm not going to add any ease allowance to the waistline. I want it to be fitted on the waistline. On the hip line, I'll place my hip circumference divided by 4. I'll indicate that. And because the blouse is going to cover the skirt, so we need a little bit of space for it to cover the skirt, so I'll be adding extra 2 inches on the hip line. So the same measurement I have on the hip line, I'm going to place it on the base of the blouse like this, and then I'm going to connect now from the chest line to the waistline, and from there to the hip, from the hip to the base of the pattern paper. The next thing I'll do now is to go down by 3 inches. 3 inches is going to be the neck depth for the front. You can do 3 inches, you can do 2.75 inches, depending on how deep you want it to be. I'm going to connect from that point to the 3.5 inches neck width like this. So this is for the front. For the back, I'll be going down by either 1 inch or 1.5 inches, so it depends on you. I'm doing 1 inch, so I went down by 1 inch. I'm going to connect it like this. On this armhole area, I'm going to connect from the center of the armhole to meet the bust line, the chest line, sorry, like this. So after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and cut. After cutting, guys, this is what I have, so I'll go ahead and open it up. So this is a full body, so we'll be using this to cut out the front first before we split it for the back. To create the slanted effect on the base of the skirt, you're going to pick a side where you want it to be slanted. For me, I went up by about 6 inches from this other end. So if you want it to be a curve, you can use the curve part of your roller to connect to the center, as you can see me doing. But if you want it to be slanted, you can do whatever it is you want to do. Okay, so I'm going up by 6 inches. You can do more than that. You've seen my outcome, so you're going to do yours the way you want it to come out. So I'm going to slant it, as you can see. Okay, so instead of a curve, I'll slant it to this other end using my free hand. After doing that, I'm going to cut it out. Okay, so if you want it to be a slant, if you want it to be a curve, go ahead and do that. Okay, so after doing that, this is what I have. What I'll do now is to trim, because I want to use this to cut out the front face. I'm going to trim out the front neckline. Okay, so trim it out, place it on your fabric, open it up before placing it on your fabric, because you want to cut out a single fabric for it, except you want to use a lining piece for it, then you cut out 2. I've gone ahead to cut it out. This is just 1. I added half an inch all the way around on the shoulder, on the armhole, on the neckline. But on the base, I added 1 inch. You don't have to add any allowance on the base, because I later went ahead to cut it out because my top became too long. Okay, so I'm going to remove my pattern paper. What you do now is to either line it, or you cut out facing for it, or you hem it. So whichever one you prefer to do. Make sure you are hemming the armhole area also, or you are piping it, whatever you want to do. Okay, finish up the armhole, finish up the neckline, and finish up the base. We are not taking that for this blouse. Okay, so it is advisable to even use a stretchy fabric if that is what you have. So to cut out the back, on the waistline, I'm going to go in by half an inch. As you can see, I indicated the half an inch with a dot. Remember, I folded back the pattern paper into 2. So what I'll do is to connect from the half an inch all the way like this to the hip, and I connected to the bust area like this. So now I'm going to open it up. I'm doing this to eliminate zipper bulge at the back of the blouse. So after doing that, I'll split my pattern paper into 2. So we have the right hand side and the left hand side. So I'll go ahead and also place this on my fabric, and I'll cut. Okay, so if you are placing them on the right side of the fabric, make sure the both of them are placed on the right side, and if you are placing them on the wrong side, make sure the both of them are placed on the wrong side. So I've gone ahead to cut out on my fabric. Remember, the depth of the back neckline was 1 inch, so I made it 1 inch. Okay, so for the base, I added 1.5 inches like I did for the front, and I added my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches at the side. So just add your allowances all the way around. So after doing that, I'll remove my pattern paper, and I'll go ahead and also pipe the neckline and the armhole area. For me, I cut out facing. Okay, I used facing to pipe the armhole area and the neckline area. But if you don't have enough fabric, just hem all the way around, including the base. Okay, so once you do that, you are going to fix your zipper to the back. Okay, so after piping the neckline and hemming the base of the blouse, fix your zipper to the back. So I've gone ahead to sew everything in place. I've hemmed the neckline and the armhole area. I've fixed my zipper to the back. What I'll do now is to arrange both front and back together. I'll sew the shoulders together and I'll sew the side using my 1-inch stitching allowance that I left all the way. And yeah, that is all for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Don't forget to like this video. Leave your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.